Hey guys, what's up? It's the Culture Detective here, investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm gonna be doing an album review on Death Grip's Government Plates. So I don't want to repeat myself over and over and over again, but Death Grips is a band, a trio from Sacramento, California, consisting of vocalist MC Ride, drummer Zach Hill, and electronic producer, beat guy Andy Morin, aka Flatlander. So, Death Grips is my favorite band of the 2010s, and for various reasons, and lately I've done several different videos talking about them, because I just love them so much, and I think that more people should know them because their music is just so special and fantastic. And they debuted with a full-length mixtape in the year 2011 with Ex-Military, which is very raw, very rough, with some really interesting samples and really harsh vocal performances. And then in the following year, they released 2 albums. One is The Money Store, which is very in-your-face, violent, fuck you kind of album. And it's just so aggressive and angry. And then they released No Love Deep Web, and it's this huge change in musical styles, even though they still have the very visceral and raw performances and the very punchy drums and beats. A lot of things are changed. The lyrics are edgier, but yet the instrumentals, they are flashier, glitchier, and more electronic oriented, and MC Ride sort of takes a back seat while his flows get more versatile and creative and innovative, and I love No Love Deep Web. And in fact, it's such a controversial album because they released this album for free. People can download it from their website and they don't have to pay anything, and it is against their record label's will, Epic Records. Thus, they have departed from Epic Records, and after No Love Deep Web, we have Government Plates, where they move on to their next record label, Third World Records, and it has been their record label for quite some time now. And for this album, again, they are not about the linear movement, so they always change their musical styles, and this time it's way more abstract, choppy, and weird, and way more unsettling and less violent for some reason. And at only 35.5 minutes long, there are a lot of tracks on this album that are just about 2.5 minutes long or even less. So there are some songs here that just feels like song ideas rather than full songs. And it's such a weird thing about the album. Why did they suddenly decided to work on this project in such way? I don't know. Anyway, there are a lot of beats and instrumentals on the album that just gets repeated and repeated and repeated over and over again. However, the textures and the flavors of those beats and instrumentals are always very, very special, very tasteful, and very mind-boggling and dizzying, and I love it. The lyrics, they are even stranger and more abstract and wackier. They literally make no sense, even if you string them all together at once. And because of this stylistic change, a lot of the tracks on the album are either half-assed, ill-conceived song ideas, or actually some really tight and creative bangers. Thus, this is one of the weirdest Death Grips albums, and it's not one of my favorites, but I still love it a lot for some reason. However, one thing that I can really, really assure you is that the music video for the entire album is fucking fantastic. They literally made a music video for the entire album. And, the album opener and the album ender is really a music video while all the other tracks are animations. But anyway, they made this huge music video for the entire album, and it's honestly one of the best music videos of the decade. There's just something about these animations that are just so full of momentum, full of tension, full of potential energy. You can feel it with the rhythms and the instrumentals, the grooves, and the way these objects move and translocate all these things going together, it just gives you that really technical and momentous feel. Of course, MC Ride's very insane breakdown at the beginning, and Zach Hill being all weird and in the skeleton mask and the album ending, they're pretty creative. However, I really, really love the spinning skull, the skippy CCTV that just glitches and moves side to side really slowly. I really like the outline of a coffin spinning around. Also, oh, I love this one. There's this baby, this fetus baby, this head, and it's sleeping, and there's this really small airplane that's going around his head over and over again, and it shines a beam of light onto his head, and it's just this showcase of a baby's face, and it's absolutely beautiful. And we also get a dancing spider on the track Big House, the music video, and also a pretty funny one. There's a grenade dropping into a shopping cart, and the shopping cart exploded. That was pretty funny. And another one where there are these handcuffs, and you know, there are like two sides to a handcuff, and one of the sides are spinning out of control, and that is a really, really cool animation. And there are so much more that's worth talking about, but I won't go talking about every music video thing animation for the entire album. So the album starts off with, "You might think he loves you for your money, but I know what he really loves you for. It's your brand new leopard skin pillbox hat." Yes, that is the title of the song. And this song is fucking insane. You know, originally I don't want to put song clips in my videos anymore to avoid copyright claims, but for this album, I kind of have to, because I can't just describe it with words. You need to experience it with yourself, with your own ears. But anyway, the track starts off with some with glass breaking and some really shrill, intense, high-pitched synths scratching, and then we get MC Ride screaming in his most intense and primal performance. It's gut-wrenching. "Get so fucking dark in here! Come, fuck up on here! Ah!" I can't do the scream right now because I don't want to, mess with my neighbors and other people in the apartment right now, but oh my gosh. And then we get this plunging, warpy, distorted, noisy dubstep drop that's just so wild and freaky, and it's dubstep, but they're not really like a dubstep track because it doesn't have the constant dance beat. So it's just this really, really weird thing. It's kind of crazy.
Fuck I said, fuck I don't start shit!
And the lyrics, they are even wackier, even crazier. I really like that line where MC Ride goes, "Opening of the mouth." It's like someone or something, some creature is opening its jaws, and we are being fed into the monster ruthlessly, gruesomely, and everyone's just having a bad time because they're dying, and it's just absolutely insane, absolutely mental. The song is this explosion of anxiety and anger, and it's the least hip-hop oriented song I've heard from Death Grips, and I don't know what kind of genre is this track in, to be honest. It's just this monster. It's absolutely amazing. A 10 out of 10 indeed. And then we have the second track, and Bonny, where it starts off with a vocal sample saying "pirate" with some jumpy, skippy, ping-pongy beat that's kind of stable at first, and then we get these very lightweight and spacey trap beats that's really awesome, and some futuristic, luxurious, ascending synths, arpeggios, sorry. Yeah, it's a really interesting combination, and I love it a lot as well. And then we get MC Ride with a trap flow almost, but it's the year 2013, so it's actually kind of cutting edge. "I'm on that V, on that yellow pill shit. Fuck the dealers. Fuck, kill, steal shit."
I'm on that yellow pill shit. Fuck the dealing. Fuck deal shit.
Even though at first the song feels kind of lighthearted, all of a sudden it breaks into this very tight and raw and dragged, distorted bass drop, and with this very tight beat, it's just ingenious. It's orgasmic. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. It's just awesome. I know I'm overhyping myself too much right now, but this song is awesome. The vocals, they're just so aggressive. This song is a 10 to a 9 out of 10. Maybe a 10? I don't know, somewhere in between. And then we have the third track, To Heavens, another tight creative banger, even though it doesn't quite have the flavor that the two previous tracks have. It has the texture, and it's just so awesome. At first we get this glitchy, crusty intro with some warning, stale piano buzzes that's sort of warning the listeners, if we want to continue listening or not. And then we have MC Wright singing single, strike, cadence, slip, once-a, made, Yuma, bitch. And then the beat just breaks into this very metallic drum beat sample, and it's just so dizzying and panoramic, and it's just so full of textures. It's like a metallic hatchet slamming onto an iron fence or something, and they sampled it and turned it into something so skippy and glitchy and yet awesome. And I really love the shouty vocal samples, and that's those parts in the song where MC Rat goes ring zima, it's just wow, it's a 9 out of 10. The fourth track is This Is Violence Now. This Is Violence Now. There's a subtitle to the song title, I think. I forgot. But at first we get this very punchy 4/4 drum beat, and we get these phaser drums that produces these very interesting swoopy buzzes, and then we get some chopped up vocal leads. And at first it's very bouncy and jumpy, but then at some point on the track, the instrumental is completely replaced by these slicey, dicey, metallic snare drum clipping snippets things, and it's just a really chaotic and interesting sounding instrumental track. However, the last minute of the track just feels like a copy and paste of everything that this track has before, so this is where the album sort of trails off, because it's a little repetitive and a little redundant at times. So it's an 8 to a 7 out of 10, And then we have the fifth track, Birds. And at first we get these mumble, high-pitched vocals. It sounds like someone is trying to shout and scream for help, but can't because his or her mouth is sealed with human skin. And then we get these very spacey, almost sci-fi tinged bass beats in the bottom, and these two sounds going together, it just creates this very potent magnetic field of sound, and it feels very terrorizing as well. It's really interesting.
Fuck you.
And then we have MC Ride shouting, birds! And then, fuck you. And then all of a sudden, everything's gone, and we hear these very despondent guitar licks. And they're actually performed by Robert Pattinson of Twilight fame. So that's an interesting piece of trivia. I really like how drunken the guitars are, and then immediately after the guitars, MC Ride goes in with a very drunken trap flow. Yes, it's a trap kind of flow with some double syllables trickery thing. I got a black hat, it goes big. So yeah, it definitely takes effort to enjoy this track. It's an 8 out of 10. And then we have Feels Like a Wheel, which is probably my least favorite Death Grip song ever, and for various reasons. At first it does sound kind of interesting. We get these chompy, scrambled beats and some metallic swooshes, as well as some air horns. And then immediately after we get 4 layers of vocal samples. 4 layers. We have this shouty sample, let me leave my la, and it just goes on forever. Then we have some weird sounds, and then we have like bird tweeting, and then we have MC Ride going, feels like a wheel. And that's basically the entire track. Like 7, 8, or 9 layers of sound. That's really intricate at first, but it's being kept on looping forever. It feels like forever, and it just gets really redundant and stale, even in the first 30 seconds of the track. Just feeling a 3 to a 4 out of 10. Kind of disappointed. And then we have I'm Overflow, which at first doesn't sound like anything all that special, with some MC Ride shouts being spammed, and with some really simple drum beats, but later on it gets interesting with some sound effects and some eerie, spacey vocal samples in the back that makes the song feel a little more spooky, maybe. And then we get this really, really killer bass drop, and MC Ride hops in with a very interesting flow. I'm so overflow.
I am overflow, under dope shot flick. I'll go overflow. Hot shit.
And even though the second half of the track just feels like the first half of the track copied and pasted, but I still like it for what it is. It's still pretty interesting sounding. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. A 7. And then up next we have Big House, which is very trippy track with some abused high-speed maniacal synth arpeggios going up and down constantly, being layered on top of one another, with some chompy, blasted, booming, almost disco kind of beat in the background, like some crazy madhouse across the street is blasting music 3 a.m. midnight. It's really chaotic at first, but then suddenly it just breaks into this very toned down beat with some crispy, snappy, eerie beats, drum beats, wooden collision, whatever. And we have MC Ride repeating this line, LA creeping under my skin, LA creeping under my skin, over and over again until he goes into a real verse. And it's really interesting sounding, but again, I wish that this track could have been longer. I wish that this track would be longer, grammar, and I wish there is more dynamic to the track, but still, I like how this song sounds. I really like it. I really like the verses as well. The synths, they're a little annoying though, so 6 to a 7 out of 10. And then we have the title track, which is another really strange track, to be honest. Honestly, I really, really love these spacey, nocturnal keys. They are really beautiful, strangely, and they remind me of the sunset. They're nocturnal sounding, but also kind of, you understand what I mean, right? It's sort of like bam, 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 and it has this reverb effect to it that's making it even more airy and spacey. And then we get these descending and ascending clipping snare samples and some jingly Japanese tinged bells and some chirpy keys sort of tweeting in the background. So that's like 5 layers of sounds already. And then occasionally the song just drags down into slow motion and it gets kind of possessed almost. And even though the song feels kind of stale, kind of mundane, and it feels like a really boring remix of Black Dice off of No Love Deep Web, I still kind of like how it sounds, I guess. But yeah, as a result, the song is just kind of okay. I'm kind of feeling a 6 for the title track. Then we have Bootleg, which almost ties with Feels Like a Wheel for being my least favorite Death Grips track, because it's just so annoying. I don't know why, but they would just repeat one snippet of sound and then loop it until 2.5 minutes long. And at first we get this very distorted and compressed vocal sample. No, but no, I don't need you. No, but no, I don't need you. And it just goes on again and again and again. And then suddenly it would stop and it would become this very toned down, very bitter flavored piano thing with some very minimalistic chompy beats. And it's just this really weird and jarring and unnatural tonal change. And and throughout that session we get some click-clacky slow beats and with some ear-piercing keys that sound like they're coming from an industrial factory machinery malfunction, whatever. And it just gets stale and mundane and kind of insipid after some time. So it's a 3 to a 4 out of 10 as well. Yeah, that's really descriptive. I'm really proud of myself for being able to describe some of the sounds on the album. Anyway, the album ends off with "Whatever I Want, Fuck Who's Watching," and it's 6.5 minutes long for some reason. And I kind of like the echoey poem intro performed by MC Ride in the beginning. And again, similar to Big House, we get some really high-speed, maniacal synths that are really spacey, and it just goes up and down, over and over again. And then occasionally it breaks into this very spacey interlude ambient kind of music that's just sort of like bam, bam. And it's just those kind of music that almost feels like elevator music, but it's even slower and dreamier and more psychedelic. It's almost the kind of music you would see on the game menu screen of a really, really old game, and it feels kind of spooky. And it's like the menu screen kind of sound. It's almost similar to Radiohead's Tree Fingers, that almost gives off a similar mood type. I don't know, man. It's just weird. And occasionally we get these slicey, dicey synth keys, and it's weird. And I don't know, man. It feels like a solid track, but at the same time not. So it's a 5 out of 10. So yeah, overall, this is one of the weirdest albums I've ever heard in my life, and I just wish that the songs here are more has more dynamic to it, because a lot of the beats here and instrumentals here actually bear a lot of potential, and if it would have grown into a full song, the album would be way, way better. But still, I really like the production on the album. The performances are insane, and the first 3 tracks on the album are absolutely insane. And yeah, my favorite track here is the album opener, and my least favorite is Feels Like a Wheel, and I'm giving Death Grips Government Plates a 6 to a 7 out of 10. So, have you listened to Death Grips Government Plates? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, hate if you hate it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. And also, if you're wondering, Billie Eilish, Flume, Matmos, Lil Sims, American Football, Foles, Sun Kill Moon, Logic, Nav, The Comet is Coming, yeah, whatever.